Good evening and welcome to another episode of Poor vs. Standard. Poor here. As always, we are not financial advisors. Any information within these podcasts, YouTube videos, and posts are for entertainment purposes only. Please don't sue us. Don't do it. If you find that you get any value out of these, feel free to follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at vs_poor. And you can always email us with any questions you may have at poorvstandard@gmail.com. Also, if you feel like you get a boatload of value from us, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon and support the podcast that way, because we appreciate you and we hope you appreciate us. And the best way for you to appreciate us is help us get more content out to the most people would be, a couple bucks here or there if you can afford it. If not, no worries. But you can find us at patreon.com/poorvstandard. All these links will be in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. What do you say? I apologize that I got this out a little late. I was dealing with what can only be described as the worst headache I have ever experienced. I can honestly say I've never had a migraine before, but that was it. I was ready to just die. It was awful. I can't imagine getting those on a regular basis because that sucked. No, never again. I don't ever want to experience that ever, ever, ever. But that's my excuse. That's why I couldn't podcast yesterday. There was just no way I could do any of this. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. I was like a comatose, just blob. I couldn't think straight. So you guys are just sitting here like, ow, it hurts so bad. Just hearing me whine. You don't want that. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk stocks. Let's not talk migraines. Let's talk stocks. The name of this episode is Crypto's back again. Congress sucks. Tell your friends. To riff off of a parody of Eminem from the old school days. But really, I wanted to discuss it in a way that made sense to discuss the recent crypto drive and what's happening there. Last week, Bitcoin was in the mid high 30,000 range, and we hit a high of like 47,000 recently, like within the last day or two. And now we're back down to around 45,700 with Bitcoin. It's a hell of a run, and really what it has to do with is the congressional infrastructure bill, I guess. And the way that the bill has worded some of the legislation they want to pass on crypto. There was a massive outpouring of people explaining to congressmen, representatives, anyone who would listen, that the way that the regulations on crypto were worded in the bill would hamper a lot of different cryptocurrencies and a lot of innovation in the cryptocurrency space. And it would be better if the wording was massaged a little, because everyone wants regulation of crypto. Left, right, center, doesn't matter. Because the more regulation that there is, the more defined that space can be, the more secure that space is, the safer investors feel, the more money will flow into that market. And that's what everyone wants at the end of the day. Now, we're not there yet. We are still in the developmental stages of cryptocurrencies, and hampering the development and discovery of what we can do with it would not go well, because there are a bunch of other countries where developers and things could take their know-how and resources to and do the things they want to with cryptocurrency, and then we would lose out on all the revenue that way. Whereas, or even just miners like Mara, Riot, those kinds of things, they could just up and leave and go elsewhere to mine and not have to worry about the tax implications that the U.S. would try and impose on them. And so basically what was said was in this bill, it was basically that the way they defined a crypto brokerage could also include miners and some investors that would have their cryptocurrency staked and would be generating more cryptocurrency, like with Cardano. And those tax implications would be for people who don't really have a 1099 or any reason to do one. It would have been very difficult. And so by massaging the words in that and reforming that bill, that was able to be avoided. However, at the last leg of the journey, in the last mile, there was a massive just shutdown of changing of any type of the amendments to the over $1 trillion budgetary bill. Excuse me. And there was literally just, it was shut down by Uncle Bernie. He's like, nope, no more, we're done. And so they didn't change the bill because they couldn't. Because there was no more agreeing. So by this time tomorrow, I am recording this at 11 o'clock at night, almost midnight. We'll know whether or not the Senate votes to pass the bill and it gets moved over to the Senate, or from the Senate to the House for final approval before it goes to the president to get signed into law. Now, this whole infrastructure bill was a 2,800-page bill that just no one had the time to read, and there's shit in there that people still don't even know what's in it. And I hate this because this literally happened to the crypto part. It's a separate thing altogether, and in order to even vote on it, another senator wanted to talk about military spending and their amendment on military spending in the bill in order to even bring up the crypto amendment. And it's like, no, just vote on every single thing separately. Just one bill, one paper, one piece of paper. That's all you need. Do you want to do this thing? Yes or no? That's it. You don't vote on, you don't fill these things with hundreds and hundreds of pages like, well, if he gets that, then I get this. No, that's not how the game is played. That's not how the government's supposed to work. It's supposed to do one thing at a time. Like, this is the thing I want. This is what we're going to do. It doesn't need to be an amendment. It can be its own separate bill. That's how that should be done. You should not have to play these stupid ass games with law in order to get things done. It would make it so much more efficient if you could just, I don't know, propose a bill where it's like only one thing in a bill at any given time. Fixed it. Done. No more of this bullshit. No more of this lobbying for shit. Done. But it just, and no more 2,800 page bills. That's stupid. That's literally how they're trying to sneak shit in. Like, it's unbelievable to me that people aren't outraged at how their government is functioning right now. But that's just me. Like, it's been going on for years and years and years, and there's no changing the bureaucracy. I don't see a way out. Yeah, so that's basically where we left off with that. And they are going to vote on this tomorrow. And so by this time tomorrow, we will know whether or not the $1.1 trillion infrastructure bill passes. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, so because of the legislation that had the crypto in there, we saw this massive shoot up, and we saw basically when it got blocked out, we saw Ethereum basically just get knocked all the way down. Not all the way down, but down to like, the 45K rate, or not 45, that's Bitcoin. The 30,000 range from the high of like 3,300. So not horrible for Ethereum, but Ethereum also did just have a massive upgrade done to it. Andre Jenk just did a very well done video. He's, high quality stuff over there. All about Ethereum and the upgrade from the fork that's happening. And interesting tidbit that I learned from that video is that next year they're going to, after they've moved from proof of work to proof of stake, they're going to reduce the reward per block by about 90%, which is huge. That will make Ethereum shoot like a rocket when that happens. I mean, if Ethereum's at $4,000 when that happens, and you can expect Ethereum to go up 90% from $4,000, that's what, $3,800? No, that's $3,600 on top of the 4,000. So if I'm doing my math right, that's 7,600. So not bad. Especially for where we are right now, which is less than that total. I can see that being a thing that may happen. I do own Ethereum. I own a little over 3 whole Ethereum, and I intend to keep adding to that position. But it's been a decent week for cryptos all around, and depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll see if crypto rally continues. But that was the main topic of the video, is that your government is a piece of shit if you live in the US, as far as how it deals with cryptocurrency and how it deals with passing legislation that it has no godly business passing because of how they decide to do things. Your government's broken and it needs to be fixed. But yeah, that's rant over. Just wanted to get that off my chest. Things that did happen in the last week, we saw Robinhood actually shoot up. It got halted multiple times last week. And it shot up to $72. Currently, it's consolidated around $56, $57. It's not something I'm recommending buying. It's not something I've said this repeatedly, that I'm going to be anywhere near. I'm not touching it with 10-foot pole. I'm not touching it with my money. I'm not touching it with your money. It was an interesting day when that happened. That was pretty funny. The Nikola founder, who everyone knows is a fraud, may be going to prison. That's fun. Trevor Milton. Apparently he's a giant scumbag and everybody knows it. So there was a big explosion about how literally everything on that Nikola truck, not only the rolling down the hill, but like the doors were like super glued or taped on. It was not a good, yeah. So I don't know. That company is it's probably not going to end well for them. But we did score a win last week with our Amazon call debit spreads, and I did enter another Amazon call debit spread position this week. I did take the Walrus's advice, and then not his advice, because he was discussing options plays on PubMatic, PUBM, ticker symbol. I opened up an option, October 15th, $35 call. And shortly thereafter, I sold a October 15th $45 call against it to open a call debit spread, but I kind of did it one leg at a time, and it actually worked out a lot better for me than if I'd done it all at once. So it's okay. I'm actually, my thought was, depending on what the prices were, tomorrow, before earnings, if I just had the naked call, I might have sold it off for a small profit. But now that I have it at this is actually a pretty decent play, the way I did it with the call debit spread, because it only cost me $215 for a potential $1,000 win total, and I got 2 months. So even if you watch the Walrus's video, you'll see he goes in depth about this stock and why this is a good play for him. And he's only bought shares anymore, but because he thought the price of the options was too high in order to safely make the position. So to mitigate the price being so high, the call debit spread seems to be the way to go, because that reduces the price. It also reduces the upside. But if this thing shoots up, $7, I'm even. I've broken even. I made a little bit of profit. If it goes more than $10, I'm in the money. So the possibility of it going up $10 seems pretty reasonable, based on the DD and things in the next couple months. But yeah, we'll see. I can play it for a little bit and sell out of it either pre or post earnings, depending on what happens and what I see tomorrow. So we'll see. Definitely very interesting play. And also, you'll notice that with all the cryptos shooting up, you noticed that where is it? Coinbase currently at $280. So bought it at $217. Had I held it this long, I think I sold out at $265 or something. Maybe it was just $260. So lost out on a $20 gain there for the one share I had. But, we're still up on Coinbase overall for the year, so can't complain. But 280 seems pretty high. And, yeah. If you're holding Coinbase, good job. If you bought it when I told you to buy it in the two teens, excellent. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're making money. And then lastly, one thing that happened today was Moderna shot up almost 20%. It was up to over 490. It was like 495 at the highs today. And 20% based on, some like nice words on CNBC and that kind of thing. And the fact that lockdowns may be coming, that kind of thing, booster shots, and that Australia has approved their vaccine. So I think 20% is a bit of an overshot on the worth of this company. Honestly, before the $71 jump in price, I honestly thought Moderna was overvalued at that point. So I opened up a position that expires next week. I bought puts on it, essentially. You can see here. I bought a $480 put and sold a $470 put against it because, again, the premiums on these are so high. Like, just for one contract, it's $28, something like that. Yeah. So if I buy one of them and I sell the other one and they're similar enough in price, like I think I got in for around, well, I tried to get in for about $500 total so I could double my money, but it executed at $588 because I did something stupid. I don't know what. So we're going to ride it for a little bit and see where it goes and hopefully not lose a lot and maybe even get a profit. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. It was a very interesting day in the market, and we also have a boatload of earnings coming out. I did tweet about many of them, and it was an exhaustive list. But we have Tattooed Chef coming out. We have AMC's going to release earnings, Smile Direct Club, Fubo TV. Coinbase will actually be releasing earnings. Clover Health, Neo, Open Door, Palantir, Airbnb, and I'm excited about all those earnings. So there's going to be a lot of stock alerts for the patrons and stuff. We'll see what happens, but I'm super excited about that. It's going to be a good week, I think. That's what I got for you. We should do a swinging for the fences play, but I feel like my PubMed play was kind of my swinging for the fences play just because it could go either way. We don't know. PUBM. It's not PubMed. I keep calling it PubMed, but it's actually Pubmatic. It rolls off the tongue like PubMed, Club Med, that kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I got for you. Watch the Twitter account for a play of the week because I will post one there. Again, I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of DD into these things. But I did move some things around today when I was feeling better, and I will definitely get a swinging for the fences play out on Twitter for you folks sometime this week. So follow us there. Make sure you're ready and available for that when it comes out in real time. And with that, thank you so much for sticking around, being here, chilling with me, and as always, trade well, be safe. Good night.